Hello, everybody. Back for day two, and let's get into this discussion from what I heard from, some things in that I actually had to look up. And from what I'm seeing here is that supposedly Putin is coming out about the truth on a lot of things. And just only a few were mentioned when one was 9/11, and supposedly feeding us, humans, and specifically our own uh, people here. Uh, whether everything is true, I don't know. I don't know if Putin is really reaching out. It's not really confirmed 100%, of course, because something like that would be taken down real quick. And surprisingly, if it was even true, uh, I don't think any of us would have heard about it unless truly a whistleblower is coming out and speaking about it. Um, as for the fact of 9/11, it's already pretty much a proven fact. And I'm sorry to say this to a lot of you and that it is believed that the government set up 9/11. Whether they come after me for it, you will know, because I'm not suicidal and uh, I don't do nothing really that would cause me to be harmed. So if I do end up dead and you hear about it, then you'll know. But I'm speaking truth then, because the only way that they would take me out is for that reason. But really, 9/11, if you look at the windows and that, the way it comes down, because if you really go look at a way a building comes down from a fire or any kind of explosion that's not demolition, it comes out down a different way. Definitely, 100%. That is definitely showcasing of a demolition of a building. So, and there's a lot of factors in that. So it just doesn't make sense. It don't add up. Um, as for the planes, I'm not too sure 100% because it don't really add up either there. Um, but you can never be too sure. But the government's never been too much about not causing killing Americans. Let's put it that way. Let's just put it straight out there. Like, they have no problem doing that. They don't. They never have. I mean, from what I've read and I've seen documents and that proving that factor, it's pretty obvious. Now, as for what's going on with President Trump, like, I was for sort of Trump. I didn't vote because I never do. I'm gonna tell you that now, because you really never can tell with these people. They could manipulate very good, where you kind of believe their lies. As for Trump, I don't know, because now he's showing more of a dictator than he was a president. And that's my problem here, is because now he wants to take over Greenland. He's taking Venezuela, and that's a dictator standpoint right there to me, because you want to take over countries when you're supposed to be only the president of this country, and you're not even doing a bang up job there, really. Promises. Um, as for everything that we've been going through, and that the whole problem is a lot of everything that you hear is not true. And that's the whole point I'm here. I'm here to point out what's fake, what's false, what's, misleading, even things that could be kind of true, but they add things into it to make it sound better or make it more interesting, I guess, in a standpoint what they think is interesting. The government has never been really for us. except for back in the day. We're talking about when our forefathers and stuff were. We're talking about way back. JFK was for the people. I mean, he was, and that's why he was killed. Obviously, anybody that's for us, present wise, and they see, oh, we made a mistake, they do take out, and that's anybody else. We're talking about senators, governors, mayors, anybody that's up there, they'll take out. Um, and the problem with this world nowadays is that we're not doing nothing about it. Honestly. I mean, have you ever really sat there and thought about, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that? No, you haven't. Because truthfully, you never really thought about it. You understand? You never really thought about it because your mind is, you're thinking, I'm busy with a whole bunch of other things. I'm not worried about this, that, and a third. And that's the problem. You got to be worried because this is your livelihood. This is your life you're talking about. And you only get one life. That's it. And just letting these people run this corruption and that and do what they do is just a problem. And that's why you got to put a stop to it. Like I said before in a video before, the constitutional right is for us to, go. And if we see that they aren't doing for us, we have in the right, the constitutional rights that we can go in and have them removed. And that's what we need to start doing, which shocks me that I haven't been seeing Joe Biden. I was surprised to see him on his own. The guy could barely even talk. He could barely even, stand upright. And everything seemed to be a joke to him. I mean, you got to remember, anything that he went to, it was just, he seemed to think it was a joke. And there was a lot of concerning, I've seen a lot of these concerning videos with him with kids and that, especially females and that. So I do believe that, because the whole family is, I believe, are pedophiles. And that's my problem. We're not doing nothing as a community to reach out and be like, hey, we need to unite, get these people their jokes. We need to get people that actually care. The only thing these people care about that you have in are the rich. Themselves, the rich, because think about it. They have bunkers. They have everything set up for them. You understand? Food supplies, unlimited food supplies. Now, I do believe we're getting a lot of lab stuff. I mean, lab-grown food, which I believe. Because a lot of it don't look like meat, don't look like vegetables, or there's something wrong with it. And so I tested the theory out, and one day I'm going to show it because now it's wintertime, so I can't. But this is before I started doing these and thought about doing these videos to come out and start speaking out. If you grow your own vegetables, they seem to last longer than store-bought vegetables. And then they try to lie. If you do question it, they'll try to lie and be like, well, it took time for it to get here, so that's why, it's starting now. No. If you keep it at a, refrigerated and keep it where it's supposed to be as a fruit or a vegetable, it'll last a good long while. Not forever, but longer than, what we're buying in stores. And the meat, I mean, there is something about the meat. So here's how I'm going to test your theory. And that's just for the people that can do it. If you go and you kill a cow and get it ground up into beef, and I'm talking about 100%, real cow, you take it to a butcher and have them grind it up into your ground beef and, your steaks and that. And you let that sit out in just the refrigerator, not freezer. And then you take store-bought ground meat, it changes color. And I've noticed that The cow, a real cow, it stays red. It stays red like it's supposed to, but a store bought, it gets this dark gray, darkish, brownish color in that, and it's just, there's something off about it, and that's rot. Start a process of what's called rot. Now, is Putin maybe telling the truth? Because the human flesh, I mean, it can only last so long. And that's including refrigerated. Think about it. That's including refrigerated. So, could it possibly be true that Putin's telling the truth if he really did come out and say, hey, he's feeding you guys your own people. He's feeding you humans. Could that be true? I mean, it could be. I mean, there is a difference in that food, because I remember back in the day, my mom, she used to buy that ground beef, put it in the refrigerator, because she knew in a couple of days that's going to be cooked up. Boom. And it never got that color. It stayed red, like it's supposed to. So, there's a difference. There's a difference going on in this food. Like, you got to start paying attention. Really do. But, let me get back to you in my next video. I'm sorry I'm kind of bouncing around here. I'm trying to cover as much as possible because we don't know how much longer we have. So don't mind me bouncing around. I'm trying to just cover everything as much as possible. And eventually I'll get into an extent of certain things once I have more evidence that come in, which does take time because, as you know, it's got to come encrypted, and I got to uncrypt it. So, unfortunately, that's the problem. All right. Thank you.